Here's what you do with the HOP method. Your brand, your job here for the rest of this year is to come up with an idea where your brand, where your brand meets them at home, H, where your brand meets them online, O, and your brand meets them in person, P, H, O, P. Really easy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Triangle Real Estate Podcast. And I'm here with one of the top agents and team leaders in the country, all the way from California. Let's welcome my good friend, Tristan Ahumada. What's happening, Tristan?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. So great to see you again. And I'm excited to introduce you again, probably to the folks who are kicking butt as agents and brokers in the Triangle area, the 17 or so thousand members of the Triangle MLS. And I wanted to reach out to you and connect this conversation because we're at such a critical time in the real estate space. I think everybody would agree with that. But we're going into the fall of 23. There's a lot to think about. You're always at the top of my list of the thinkers about where we are, where are we going, what do we need to think about for next year. Well, before we get to 2024, tell me how you see the business right now with all the changes going on and what we need to be thinking about right now.
Yeah, I think here, whatever happens through everything that you're seeing out there on the news for the MLS and outside of the MLS, the way you're going to look at it is how you're set up internally, right? How your mind is working, what you normally focus on. So I'm gonna take a pause for everybody right now and say, how are you doing internally? How are you doing inside? And what are you doing daily so that you show up optimally for yourself and for those people around you? That's where I would start with anything. That's where I would start now, because if you see stuff happening that is alarming, you're going to say, oh man, that sucks. The world's going to change. I don't even know how we're going to do real estate from now on. Or you're going to look at it and say, that's alarming. There's an opportunity here. What can we do better? What can we do different? How do we stand out? Right. And so there's going to be an opportunity in everything that happens. It just depends on how you're looking at it so that you can either benefit from it or run away from it like a victim. And so for those of you that are watching this, hopefully you look at this and say, great, I'm ready. Let's take this on. Let's adapt. Let's change, because that's the word of your life, adapting, changing, right? And say, what are we going to do? Are some of those things going to be the same? And are some of those things going to be different? So the same, here's the same, which is the best part of real estate. This is a relationship business. It always has been. This is why Matt and I are still friends for so damn long, right? And that means, what impression are you making on those people that already like you? What does that look like for you? And that's what I call my core database. When it comes to my core database, I'm thinking, who are those past clients and who are those in my core sphere that would refer business to me consistently, and how am I taking care of them? And I think this is where I made a little system up. Matt, I made this outline in the book that I have, Real Estate Prospecting, and I call it the HOP method. And the HOP method is really for your core sphere and your core past clients. And I define those as those people that'll recognize you at the supermarket. They'll be like, what's up, Matt? It's like they'll wave at you. They know you. And they like you, and they'll probably refer business to you if you do your job and stay in front of them consistently, right? So the HOP method is this. Let me just grab some water. By the way, sickness going around, don't get it. Whatever it is, don't get it.
Well, while you're taking a sip there, let me throw a question into that mix. When you explain this, everybody always wants to know, how big is core sphere of influence? And I have my thoughts about that, but I want to know, as part of your answer, what you think about that.
Great question. I think it comes down to your personal business. Some are 20, man. Some are like 15, and that's fine. Some could be more, like 100, 150, 200, 200 plus. The idea is just to take some time and for you to find what that looks like on your phone, right? When you're like, okay, let's start with Z, because I always start with A. Let's start with Z and go back and be like, and if you want to export them using something like MC Backup Pro, that app, or if you want to just export them with your hand and be like, I'm going to just choose my top 30 on my phone. That may take a long time for some of you. I've got 3,000 contacts on mine, right?
Mhm.
But some of you only have like 200, and that's fine. Just identify those. Here's what you do with the hop method. Your brand, your job here for the rest of this year is to come up with an idea where your brand, where your brand meets them at home, H, where your brand meets them online, O, and your brand meets them in person, P, H, O, P. Really easy. You can't forget that one because you hop,
Dude,
right?
that's gold though, man. I've never heard anybody package it that way. Thank you.
Yeah, look, what happened is I reverse engineered. When I was writing the book, I was like, why have we gotten approximately one referral a day for the last 2 years? What the hell's going on? And so when I look back, I was like, wait a second, our brand is meeting them online daily. I started with online, and I was like, our brand is meeting them at home, and our brand is meeting them in person. And I had to rearrange it because didn't make sense, right? So I was like, hop. I was like, I would focus online first. But anyways, it ended up being hop. So here's what it stands for. Remember, these are your core clients, your core people, right? Your brand means you are grabbing a handwritten note and writing them something. If it's 20 people, there's no way that you shouldn't be the one writing these, man, like with your own hand, right? It's cool to use a company like Handwritten or Addressable or Audience or whatever you want to do as you scale and grow. But at the beginning, you do it. Like, Matt, I'm going to write you a letter and be like, hey, Matt, whatever the letter says. And don't bring up real estate because right now real estate's being brought up on its own. So handwritten note to my core. Next, if you can, then add another layer to this, which is postcards. And for our core, we send out postcards 2 times a month. But remember, it doesn't fit into everyone's budget. This is why I always start with handwritten notes. They're the easiest. You can go to Target, Amazon, buy a mess load of them for like $10. Right now, you just have to pay for postage, and you probably get some cramps if you're doing more than like 5 in a row. But whatever, it's worth it. So you've got handwritten, you've got postcards, and then the third one, if your budget allows, or if you want to start with this one, this was made famous by Buffini, which was the pop buys. But I thought I can't scale pop buys unless I hire someone to go deliver them, right? And then even then I have to pay that person. I'm like, and the gift. What if I could find a way to just send out gifts? Because I don't know about you, Matt, but when I order myself something on Amazon and I get a box and I get the box, it makes me happy. And I know what's inside of it. I just can't wait. So I thought,
If you're like me, I ordered so many things that I get the box and I'm like, what the heck is this?
oh,
It's
that's
a
so good.
surprise.
That's even better. You're surprising yourself. That's so good. That that feeling, I want to duplicate that feeling for my core sphere, core past clients. And so we go to something like Client Giant, where we pick the gift depending on your budget, depending on who they are, meaning have they referred your business continually. And so we pick gifts so that they get them quarterly. Now we put all those three things together where our brand is meeting them at home. Every quarter, they're getting a handwritten card. Every month, they're getting a postcard. And the alternating month, they're getting a gift from Client Giant. So now the whole idea behind this hop process is, what are they feeling when they see my brand come across their home at first? And then the next one is online. And online is really everything you can do with your phone, right? You're talking about texting, calling, emailing, so newsletters. You're talking about social media, the whole LCM method that we've talked about, like, comment, message, we'll get into. Retargeting, what's that messaging being sent? And you think, how does that make people feel, right? And so this is your opportunity in some of those, if you're retargeting or you're sending out newsletters, to provide value. What's that value that you're giving them? Because when they see your name, they're either going to think, man, this person, I keep on seeing their stuff and it's all over the place, but it's no value, right? They're just busy all the time. I can't connect with you. There's no authentic piece to it. Or there's a combination of that. And it's like, man, every time I see Matt, he's always giving me value. Like, I want to watch his videos. I want to read the text. And those emails he sends, I always find something about the community I didn't know or that I need to know, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the whole idea behind online or even texting. It's not like, hey, Matt, I'm just touching base with you. How are you doing? How's your home? Right? It's more like, hey, Matt, I'm not sure that you know this, but this weekend there's a great event happening. In our area, it's called the Conejo Valley Days. We live in the Conejo Valley. And we're like, Conejo Valley Days is here this weekend, guys. So I don't know if you knew about it, but if you're going, here's what you do. Go on Tuesdays. They're going to be having this and that. And that's it. And then they'll be like, are you going? No, I'm not going. But you give information, you give value. The same thing comes across with our core pass clients and course sphere. Matt, I'm calling you. And I'm like, hey, Matt, I'll text you. Hey, Matt, listen, I just sent out our great electrician to one of our clients and they loved him. I'm not sure if you need one, but I've got one for you if you need it. And obviously anybody else. That's my text to you.
Yeah, that's great though. Even that, I've never sent a text like that before, or even seen an agent text. And if you're like me, I get a million texts from agents and emails from agents. That's a great one, man. I just found this great electrician, and let me share. And don't you love it when you find a great vendor that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the guy. You know,
they're very valuable, man, because they save you time, money, and it all comes down to trust. That trust is transferred over to you because now you have somebody that's so valuable that they're going to be like, damn, I am so happy I found this person when they do that work.
Yeah, yeah. And it's always so hard. We're always the ones that are looking for them because we're doing a renovation or we're helping a client do whatever. And it's so critical, you know. So tell me what you think about we're going into the fourth quarter. We're talking about sphere of influence and the hop method. How do you apply that specifically to this time of year?
Perfect. Dude, you laid it up for P. It's crazy that you did that. So HOP. Here's the thing. Here's the key. Here's the secret sauce to real estate, man. And I discovered this early on by accident. And that's the connection. And I think it's become more apparent after COVID, right? When they took that away from us, that meeting in person, the connection, right? It's so much more valuable now. And people crave that even more than before. And so when it comes to P, it's the meeting in person. That's the key. So we've got the holidays coming up, November, and we've got December, right? And who doesn't love Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's still my favorite holiday, hands down. I don't know why. It's just a feeling. Maybe it marks like that time of year. Everybody's really happy, down to earth, connected. I'm very thankful for that. And I want to make sure that there are other people are feeling the same way, or at least I'm making them feel like they're significant in my life. And so I take the opportunity throughout the year, but specifically here more, where we're going to go on a deeper trek to meet with people one-on-one. So I love the big events. Like if you want to have a pie party, if you want to have a Christmas party where you have Santa pictures and all that, that's awesome. Do that. That's part of that meeting in person, right? The big events. But what I like to do is the one-on-ones. And the one-on-one coffee, sometimes in this period, a lot of people want to meet and they just want to talk, man. 30-minute coffee. Matt, if I were to reach out to you and you're my core sphere, core past clients, it's a simple text to say, hey, Matt, I'm not sure if you're here on Thursday or Friday, but if you've got 30 minutes, I'm going to take you to my favorite coffee place, which is Ragamuffin here. And they've got a great Mexican chai. Let me know if you've got 30 minutes. We could catch up. That's it. And you'll be like, I can't do it that day, maybe this day. Great. Now you're in my calendar. My goal for the next 3 months, 2.5 months, is one meeting a day, right? And sometimes, let's say I miss Friday, then I'll make it up on Saturday, but weekday, right? So 5 a week
Mm-hmm.
and 30 minutes. And then the idea there is just to connect with people. And then I'm doing that same thing on social media through like, comment, message, which we've gone over before, right? Dude, this escalates. If you're looking for business, now you're attracting it by putting it out there because you're creating the opportunities. This is what we miss. We miss creating the opportunities to connect with other people. And since this business is based all on other people and how they feel about you create that through this. Now I'm meeting with you, Matt. We're having coffee. I offer to buy, and you're like, no, I'll buy it. I'm like, I'm not going to fight you, Matt. You buy. That's fine. That's great. We'll sit down, we'll talk, and then I'll just listen. I'll be like, hey, Matt, what have you been up to, man? I'm watching you on social, and I'm watching the amazing things you've been going to funnel hacking, and then that's how it started. Right. I'm going to do my homework on the person I'm meeting, and then I'm going to ask questions based on those things. And then when Matt says, Tristan, what about you? How's real estate? Because it's going to come up. Then I'm going to be like, look, I mean, look, 6 million homes sold to 4 million. It's a little more challenging. So obviously, if you know anybody, send them over to me. But Matt, how's the family? I just reverse it. Enough about me. Let's go back to you because I'm sitting here. My job is to make you feel amazing because at the end, when we're done, 30 minutes, an hour, you're going to go home and you're going to be like, there's something about Tristan. And I really enjoy talking. Man, Tristan's great. I love meeting with Tristan
Mm-hmm.
because I can talk about me. Every time it came to me, I commented and I shifted it right back to you. That's the goal, right? And
Yeah.
people need that more right now.
Mm-hmm.
That really completes the hop method, man. At home, your brand needs to meet them at home, online, and in person. And if we focus right now, the opportunity that we have with a lot of people silently struggling, you see the credit card debt going up on the news. It's like Wall Street Journal is talking about, hey, credit card debt. A lot of people want to talk. A lot of people want you to listen. And thinking about real estate strategically, if a lot of people are putting their debt on credit cards, taking out an equity line at a higher rate, what's going to happen 6 months from now if things don't get fixed with the rates, right? That
Yeah.
means that they're going to have to sell their home and downsize. Something's going to happen with the home if they're homeowners. And if
Mm-hmm.
you've been treating them well and connecting them as with them as humans, that's where you come in, right?
Yeah. Dude, I love where you've taken this and the way you think about it. And at the end of the day, it comes back to the same relationship business that it's always been. But I think we need to talk about it. I think we need to kind of remind ourselves and reset and go, how do I dig back in with my people? And you skipped over like a comment a little bit. You and I have talked about that before, but the folks here at Triangle may not have heard this before. So I want you to share with them a little bit. How do you take these same people, your core sphere that you're doing hot method with, and how do you talk to them in social?
Okay. Yes, dude, great. Thank you. And I did almost skip over that. It it's super simple. I created this for Facebook and Instagram when I consulted with them for 4 years. And I created that for not for real estate, believe it or not. I created it for other businesses. And then I'm like, wait a second, that works for real estate. And it's this. You're scrolling on Facebook, you're scrolling on Instagram. It even works on LinkedIn and to an extent on TikTok and YouTube a little bit, but mainly these three: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And here's how it works. I'm scrolling through. Matt, I see you. You pop up because you're in my sphere and you're my friend. You can use this for core and not core sphere, just general people that you're following that follow you back. Matt, I see you at funnel hacking. I'm gonna like it, right? And then I look at the picture, I look at your comment, I read it, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's learning. I'm gonna comment. I'll be like, dude, that looks amazing. What did you learn in that session? Boom, send. So now I liked it. I commented. The third thing is what we forget to do. and that's I'm going to message you. And now, if I've got your phone number, I'm probably going to text you. But if I don't have it handy, I'm going to message you in the app. So if you put it on Facebook, I'm messaging you there. Why? You just posted on Facebook. That means you're on, right? That means 98%, this is not my number, this is Facebook's number. 98% of the people you message on that platform are going to message you back. And the message is going to be having to do with that. Let's go a little bit deeper. You went to funnel hacking? Dude, what was the best session? This is amazing. I love seeing this. That's it. I didn't bring up real estate. I didn't bring up anything. Now Matt's going to be like, man, it's crazy over here, because I know that's what he's going to say. I learned this and this I'm going to apply here. Dude, I'd love to talk more about this. Now you can take it one of two ways. Dude, I'd love to learn more. Let's meet up for coffee, right? Second one is, dude, I love it. Do you have notes? Right? And just make them feel like they matter. This is what humanity is all about at the core. Like, why do I post on social media? I post on social media so people like my stuff. Like I know, like, I'm being significant to my friends. Like, it matters. And if I don't get a like, a comment, or even a message, I'm going to be like, social media kind of sucks. Am I being ghosted? But as soon as somebody goes in and takes those steps, I feel like, wow, this is cool. Like, so it means something to somebody. And the psychology behind it is big, because now you're showing people that they matter to you. And more importantly, to Facebook and Instagram, at least, now they're going to go check your profile. And now you just hack the algorithm for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour or so, depending on the algorithm. Now you're going to pop up on their feed if you're posting to social media. And that's how you get more engagement. Do this every day, 20 minutes a day in the morning, 20 minutes a day in the afternoon, and watch your social media world change around you. This is what we created for Facebook and Instagram.
And it's really, it's just a digital version of what you were doing at the coffee meeting. You're being interested in what they're doing and not making it about you. Like, this isn't that hard. I think I can do this, Tristan. Thank you. So, all right, let's talk about 2024.
Okay.
What do you
2024, I think you've got to focus on a few things here. We've got to use technology. You just have to. And if you look at, we've talked about this too, if you look at the most visited websites in the world, it's still Google, number one, YouTube's number two, Facebook's number three, number 4 and 5 switched. Number 4 is now Instagram, where it was Twitter. And number 5 is Twitter, or X, right? Twitter, which used to be number 4. But those are the 5 most visited websites in the world. And you have to think, like, what's my Google plan? And even though, as of last week, home search, the term home search, like homes for sale in whatever city, that term, according to Google, is down 14% year over year. The thing they're missing to tell you, though, is that the people searching are more serious. Like, there are less dreamers searching on Google. There are more people that are serious. How do we know? Dude, we're doing amazing with Google pay-per-click right now. And a lot more people that are serious are going to Google, checking out your business page, checking out your reviews, and then typing in homes for sale in, what city are you in, Matt?
Oh, Atlanta. Well, roughly Atlanta.
All right, so I'd be like homes for sale, Atlanta, maybe close to the university, right? And now long tail keywords are working better because more people that are serious are searching. So even though the search term is down in general as a whole, the key that I want you to remember is, like, how are you using Google? That should be a plan for you, because part of Google is also AI. They have Bard, and that's directly connected to the internet. How are you using AI to help you? Like, think how to integrate on a daily basis AI to make your life easier. Why don't you have a mastermind session with AI? I literally did. Yesterday, I had a whole mastermind session on events with AI. I said, okay, I use ChatGPT instead of Bard, but I used ChatGPT on this one, ChatGPT 4, and I'm like, okay, function as an event coordinator that has 20 years experience in, and then I'm very specific, in the real estate world. And then I go back and forth with it. I'm like, ooh, give me more ideas. Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about? I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Right? So think how you're going to use AI for newsletters, for texting communication, for anything. But more importantly, it's like, am I set up on Google yet? Business page? What about Google PPC? Should I be looking at Google PPC? Pay per click? And you should. You should at least look at that and say, is this for me? If it's not, great. What part of Google is? Because it's for the rest of the world, right? Reviews. So then you look at what's next on top of that. It's like, well, when you think of where the world is heading for real estate, where are most people mentally right now? Well, if you know there are 2 million less homes sold, that means only people that are in a position where they have to move are moving. Who are they? Well, people that are downsizing. And that's going to get a little bit bigger if our debt continues to grow per person, per household, right? So that means you have to look at, well, how can I target those people? Where are they in my area, in my city? And that's where you have to team up with either a title company, an escrow company, or get tech that can allow you to look at those things. Next, what about deaths? People still die. Do you have relationships with probate attorneys, trust attorneys? Because we do. What about divorces? That's still going to continue to happen. And when things get harder financially, guess what increases? Divorces, right? And what about, this is now generational. What about baby boomers? What is their next step? And if you go on the other side of this, millennials, where now millennials actually slightly over 50% of all millennials own a home now. Who knew? When they were always saying, what were they always saying? And the millennials are never going to own a home. It's impossible. Dude, over 50% of them do.
It's because they've stepped over that line. Now they're married. Now that first baby came, all those things, right? So it's just an age cycle. It took a little longer.
Yeah. So here's the exact plan for you listening in. You need to take a step back and say, who is my audience? Who am I going to speak to on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, newsletters, in person, at events? Who is my audience? Who is my audience? And when I look back and look at where I started, when I started growing and scaling, I asked my question, who is my audience? And for me, it was all online. Those people that are looking on Google, that are looking for my area, that are looking for this specific price point, right? And that means they look like this. That means they like this. That means they're struggling with this. And the clearer you are with that, the more you're able to talk to them on social media. It becomes a lot easier. So I think that needs to be clear for you before you get into 2024, because the world is changing super fast. But you need to change with it so you know who you're targeting. Dude, 4 million homes sold? That's crazy. Like, just to put it in perspective, our lowest point of homes sold was like 2010-ish. I don't remember what month. It was 3,450,000. That was at like the recession, the Great Recession. 3,450,000. We're at 4 million. Like, not even that far.
Yeah. And you're talking about the total number of homes sold nationally.
At one period. Yeah, one period. That was the lowest point nationally.
Yeah.
And now we're at 4 million, and we haven't crashed because of the low inventory, right?
But we were as high. We were over 6, right? 6 million 2 years ago.
Yeah. So. We're seeing a different type of a crash, right? It's a struggle in real estate. Mortgage brokers are definitely, like, some of them are out. They're like, I'm out. I can no longer sustain this business. And I think the next part of this is real estate agents. So now, before we get there, or if you're there, let's focus on what you're great at. What are you great at? And most real estate agents will tell you what. The number one thing, Tristan, if you put me in front of somebody, I'm really good. Well, how can you make that happen?
Mhm.
This is the process. This is the process, right? So great questions, Matt. This is it, man. This
Well,
is how you do it.
before I let you go, I want to go back to AI for a minute because you spent a lot of time there. You've worked on a lot of deep prompts, but you said something a minute ago about you had a mastermind with AI, and you're always 3 steps ahead of everybody else. Like I've never heard anybody say that. And as soon as you said mastermind, I'm like, oh, he got on the phone with 5 other people that sell real estate, and
Yeah.
but that's not what you meant. So
So,
go explain that a little bit to everybody else, the
so
rest of us humans.
so when you go on to do it with, if you do it with ChatGPT, only because I've tried it with Bard and I don't think Bard is completely there yet. But with ChatGPT 4, you can instruct it on how you want it to function. And think of a friend, right? Think of a friend that was like brand new. It's like, okay, and everything you tell them to do, they do it. And and they become that. So in essence, I'm like, hey, you are now Albert Einstein. Let's say we wanted to go that route. You're Albert Einstein and you're Newton. In fact, you're also Hawking's, all three. And now I want you to tell me how you see relativity in time. So you can instruct it to do whatever you want, man. This is the cool thing. Like now, for example, the event, because we're trying to hold an event, right? I wanted to understand, what am I missing? So now, if I want to say, why don't you function as a real estate veteran who's been extremely successful over the last 30 years in this business, who has a great database and loves to create relationships and also gets online leads, right, through Google, PPC, Facebook lead ads, and has an amazing social media presence. Now, answer me questions. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, got it. And then you're like, okay, now for 2024, right? Or for the next 3 months, what would my focus be if I wanted to do more business in social media, in online leads, or with my relationships? And they'll be like, I think you should do this, and then refine it more. This is how you have a mastermind, because it'll give you like more ideas you didn't know. It's like, that's a great idea.
Dude, that's a great idea. I'm gonna go have an AI mastermind right now. Dude, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining the Triangle Real Estate Podcast today.
Happy.
And dude, we appreciate it. How does everybody find you, Tristan?
You go to Instagram, Tristan dot Ahumada. It's Ahumada, or just Google me and then message me with any questions.
Awesome. Well, we'll put all your contact info in the notes. And dude, thanks again so much for being here. Bye, guys.